Brett Okamoto with ESPN alongside a very well-dressed Kamaru Usman, the welterweight champion of the UFC, who I believe you just got back into the States, right? You took a little bit of a trip. Tell us what you've been up to.
Yeah, I took a little bit of a trip. I had to go see the other side of the world, go visit Saudi Arabia and see what those guys are doing over there. It was amazing to see the incredible plans of how they're attacking this phase of life right now. So it was amazing.
Yeah, they seem to have a little bit of interest in events, and more specifically combat fight events. I mean, were these business talks, or were these just getting to know each other talks?
It's a little bit of everything, But yeah, as you mentioned just right. They're making some big progress in combat sports because they're using that to springboard their plans that they have right now. So, I mean, they're doing some big things over there, and then over the next few years, we're gonna have to see some of those things unravel.
I noticed we're cast free.
Yes, I heard someone say, they didn't attack me last time because I had a cast on, which it was a removable one. So, I had to come off with it tonight and see if anything pops off.
Okay, so this is a little bit of an invitation then. Like if you see Jorge, then he can't use the cast as an excuse, I guess.
Oh no, absolutely not. That last event that transpired was, I'm there by myself trying to do my media. I was invited to a special, the Radio Row to get that done, and they wanted press. They came in with their camera crew because that's what they wanted to do. But, if you want to do something, and the little cat stopped you, I'm gonna take it off now and let's see what all that talk is about.
I mean, it was a fun interaction. I enjoyed it. Kamaru, sometimes though, you got to say more than just do something, do something, right?
No, but this is the thing is, those guys, it's fun for those guys because they're playing.
Yeah.
That's an act. This is very real to me.
Yeah.
Fighting something that's very real to me, and I left that kind of a little upset and kind of down because one thing that I hate is to feel like I was in a fight that I actually wasn't in a fight. I hate feeling like that.
Yeah.
If I feel like I was in a fight, I want to actually be in a fight. Unfortunately that was it. That was the situation, but we move on. There's a target on my back. I understand that. That happens when you're the king of the hill.
It definitely is a target on your back. Can you describe to me the difference between sort of the dynamic? The rivalry between you and Colby sort of spoke for itself. It was very obvious why you two didn't like each other. That one felt right? It just felt like people could wrap their heads around it. This one with Jorge, what is the beef here? Why don't you like the guy?
It's not that I don't like the guy. Like, I've never said I didn't like the guy. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing about it. I've never said I didn't like the guy. I've always given him props. He was one of those guys that, just like his name, he was game bred. He was just a fighter. Yeah, of course he was kind of like a 500 fighter, kind of like a journeyman, but at the end of the day, he was always a tough guy that came to fight, and so I always gave him respect for that. But, now that he kind of got on this little run and he's getting a little bit of shine, a little bit of hype, he's drinking the Kool-Aid from his team a little too much now to where he actually believes he is this killer that they're giving him credit to be. And that's not the case. And so he's the one creating all this. I've just as soon as last year, not that long, I was giving him credit. Like, guy's a, tough guy. I was giving him credit, but all of a sudden now he's, I can't stand that guy. I hate that guy. I can't stand this guy, man. He's never said that before. The only person out of us in this situation that has changed is him. Yeah. Guys are wearing suits. The guys are wearing Tony Montana suits now. He's wearing robes to fights now. I've always been the same guy. I've always dressed up, come to these events. I've always said the same thing. I'm confident in my abilities, and nothing has changed.
What do you think of the look, though? Do you think it's working for him, or is it his look, or is he getting a little too far with it?
Oh no! Of course, this is what he wanted. He was one of those guys that always wanted fame, wanted attention, and he's getting that now. So more power to him. I'm not a hater. More power to him. I'm glad that he's getting some attention because obviously he's on the tail end of the sport. So when you walk away from the sport, you want to be appreciated for what you actually put in. So now that he's getting that hype, I'm glad for him. But when you kind of start drinking your own Kool-Aid and thinking you're better than you are, at some point someone's got to humble you.
You make an interesting point that he has been around for a very long time. It's not like he's new to this game. And you're right, going into 2019, journeyman might be a little bit of a strong word, but he was never a guy that people were pointing at like that's a future champion, that's the guy. He was in fun fights, fan favorite, but he wasn't that guy in the top three. Now he's being talked about in that regard because of the year in which he put together. What do you think? Is he the guy that we knew for the first 17 years of his career, or is he this new guy who's really found something out and is an elite welterweight at this point?
No, like I said, I always give credit where credit is due. Like he was a guy that would win some, lose some, win some, lose some. He was one of those guys that let's be honest, when it comes to that fight that puts you there, he's always fell short. Even down at lightweight, fighting Benson Henderson, fell short. Came to a welterweight. You've got a couple of opportunities now. Fighting Damian Maia, you might have gotten a shot, you fell short. Fighting Stephen Wonderboy, you might have gotten a shot, you fell short. And then in 2019, he kind of put, yes, of course, a couple of fights, good fights together to kind of steal that hype, but none of those fights were guys that put you in title contention. Nate Diaz was a lightweight coming in. He's 1-1 in the last 3 or 4 years, and you beat him, and now everyone's considering you a killer. Or you fought, who was it, Ben Askren, that arguably went 0-3 in the UFC, has a bad hip. I mean, this guy's 50 years old with a bad hip. You beat him, stole all that hype, but now everyone's considering you a killer. So, I mean, it is what it is. More power to him. I'm glad that he's finally getting the credit that he deserves, that he feels that he deserves. But at some point, you got to walk before you can run, young man. So, if that fight does happen, I'll be gladly be that guy to humble him.
Well, Dana White says the fight's happening. He says International Fight Week. Where are we on that? Is the fight happening, or some conversations need to be take place?
I haven't signed anything yet, but if it happens, it happens. But like I said, everybody loves Red Panty Night, so I like Red Panty Night.
Why wouldn't it happen? Why wouldn't the fight happen?
Like I said, I like Red Panties Night, so no, it is what it is. In this game, especially in the UFC, we've all learned that, anything could happen. So we'll see.
So a few conversations, and hopefully we see you on July, whatever that week is, the first week of July in Las Vegas. You versus Gamebred. Last question. He says he's going to smash your face. He says he's going to baptize you. What is your reaction to any of this?
One thing that I just want to make clear is, we all witnessed when Tyron Woodley said that if it came to a wrestling match, he would kick my ass. If it came to a striking match, he would knock me out. If it came to a jiu-jitsu match, he would break my arm. We saw what happened there. Fast forward to we saw the next guy who said that he's gonna retire me. He's gonna decapitate me. I would be carried out on a stretcher. We saw what happened there. So it is what it is. I like that these guys have confidence in themselves. But it is my job to go in there and humble these guys. So we'll see what happens.
Kamaru, thank you for the time, man. UFC 247 is about to start. I got to let you get out there. I'm sure they want to put that necklace and that hat on pay-per-view, so we'll let you go.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and special content, subscribe to ESPN+.